Good afternoon, good morning, good evening from wherever you're joining us from today. I see that people are just coming into the chat, so we're going to wait a few moments before we get started. But until then, I'd love to invite you to introduce yourselves and let us know what city and country you're dialing in from. So just utilize the chat function and let us know where you're calling from. All right, I see lots of people coming in. Kolkata, India, fantastic. Welcome. Karachi, Pakistan. Great. We've got a couple of different countries represented already. See many of you joining us right now, and we're going to get started shortly. My name is Lindsay Hillcoat, and I am from Seed Global Education. And if you haven't worked with us before, we work on connecting top students like yourselves with top universities like our masterclass host today. And while you're just rolling in, I'd like to invite you to introduce yourself in the chat. Please let us know the city and the country that you're joining in from, so we can see the diversity of those joining in today. So keep that coming. Great. Another Kolkata. There we go. Delhi. Fantastic. New country and new continent, Nigeria. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much. All right, so welcome to our masterclass today. Our host is King's Business School at King's College London, and we're really excited to learn more from them today on how to ace your business school application. I know a lot of you are thinking and nervous about when I'm applying, what should I be considering? We're also going to have the opportunity to learn more about them. They are located in the heart of London. You'll see that on Martin's background, actually. And we're excited to learn a little bit more about your goals and support you throughout. So we will be turning off the chat in just a few moments, but directing you to the Q&A function on the bottom. So if you locate on the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll see a Q&A, and that's where you can pose questions to our host today. And we'll both be answering those at the very end of the presentation live, but also be answering them throughout, because you'll also see Laura White on the call from the admissions team, who will be helping to answer your questions on the admissions process throughout the presentation, and then we'll have some Q&A toward the end. So with that, I'm going to be hosting a poll, and I'd like you to answer, once you see it on your screen, where you feel that you need the most support in your application. So is this on strengthening your academic profile? Is this crafting a compelling personal statement? Is this improving your English test scores or showcasing your work experience effectively? So these might be all important to you, but if you can choose the most important, I see it going up and down. I'm going to give it a few more seconds to learn a little bit more from you. I've got a clear winner here, so maybe Martin can focus his presentation on that. And I'll share the results, and you can see over half, or exactly half of you are saying that strengthening your academic profile is where you feel that you need the most support. So we will be hearing a little bit more from Martin Matos, who is a faculty partnership manager at King's Business School, and will be walking us through what to expect studying at King's Business School, but also how to prepare that perfect application for you. So I'm going to pass it over to Martin, who will walk through his presentation. And please, once again, utilize the Q&A function to ask questions throughout. Over to you, Martin.
Great. Good morning, good afternoon from London, and good evening, depends where you're logging from, everyone. Great to see students from numerous cities which I visited a few times. I've been with King's twice previous year and a year before. So welcome to today, a masterclass and presentation. Let's jump straight into it. So allow me to share my screen. There we go. Right, can I just please confirm you see the full slide?
We do, thank you.
Perfect. Okay, here we go. Right. So most applicants meet the minimum entry requirements. So the real question is really what makes one application stand out. So my name is Martin Matos. I am from King's Business School. Today, as mentioned, I am joined by Laura White from admissions. And today, we will show you how to make your application coherent, credible, and compelling, especially through the personal statement and the evidence you can provide. So before we begin, here is a quick overview of what we'll cover today. We will start with a short introduction of King's Business School. We look at what competitiveness really means in practice, so you understand the context you are applying into. From there, we will focus on what we look for in strong applicants, how to prepare strategically before you apply. We will break down the key components of the application step by step, including transcript, personal statement, references, and the English language requirements. And we'll finish by pulling everything together into what a strong submission looks like. And then we end with the final tips and the most common mistakes. So let's start with a brief introduction of a King's Business School. King's Business School is a diverse, research-driven community with students from over 85 countries at postgraduate level, and actually combined with undergraduate is over 120 countries. What defines us is not just the global reach, but intellectual rigor combined with the real-world relevance. And being located, of course, in central London gives our students direct exposure to industry, policy institutions, and global organizations, which shapes both the learning experience and career trajectory. Let's look at briefly at the breadth of the programs we offer. Now, excuse me, I won't read each program individually, but what's important is the range of specialization, from management and entrepreneurship to public policy, HR, various finance, specialized finance programs, ESG, but also a program you wouldn't expect at business school, which plays on the strength of King's College London, medtech innovation and entrepreneurship. So why am I saying that? Because when applying, clarity of program choice is critical. Admissions assess alignment with a specific academic focus. And that academic focus is supported by strong institutional performance. A King's Business School holds Triple Crown accreditation, ASCSB, EQUIS, and AMBA, a distinction which is achieved by less or fewer than 1% of the business school worldwide. Just for information, there is about 6,000, 5,500 business schools in the world. And last time I checked, 142 have been triple accredited. So this really places us among a very small group of globally recognized institutions. Our strength is reflected not only in accreditation, but also in national and global rankings. We are ranked top 10 in the UK for research, highly positioned in UK league tables, and globally recognized in both QS and THE or Times Higher Education rankings. We have entered now specific program rankings, so our international management, known as MIM, we are ranked 29th globally by QS. But rankings alone don't define the learning experience. What truly matters is the research ecosystem behind the school. And that research strength becomes even clearer when we look at the individual scholars shaping our programs. So, as you can see on this slide, 20 King's Business School or King's Business School faculty academics are ranked in the Stanford Elsevier top 2% of scientists globally, being taught by faculty in the top 2% worldwide. It's a strong indicator of the academic prestige and global standing of King's. What is not shown on this slide is also two of our professors, Hyu Jung Chung, that's top left, second one from the left side on the top, and Kim Hok. They were also named by HR Magazine as the most influential thinkers list. Just to put it into perspective, on this list, there is only 4 academics nationally featured on this list, and 2 of them comes from King's Business School. So this concentration of globally recognized expertise is one of the reasons King's is both highly respected and highly competitive. Now, for you as an applicant, this means that you are entering a research active environment where teaching is informed by globally recognized scholars, not outdated theory. And because of this global reputation and strong positioning, demand for places at King's Business School is high, which means that our admission process is selective. Across 15 postgraduate programs, the full-time options one, we receive approximately 13,000 applications each year. From those applications, around 5,000 offers are made with a final enrollment of roughly 1,400, 1,369, if I'm not mistaken, students. So this then means that the applications significantly exceed the number of available places. Now, while the proportion of offers made may seem relatively high, it's important to remember that many applicants apply to multiple universities and many offer holders are still completing their undergraduate degrees. So not all offers convert or goes into enrollment. Ultimately, the competition for places is strong and selection is holistic. So we look beyond the grades to motivation, fit, and overall application quality. So you can ask yourself, how do we actually identify strong applicants? At King's Business School, we review, as mentioned before, applications holistically. So strong academics are very important, but they are only one part of the picture. We look for clarity, purpose, evidence of initiative, critical and analytical thinking, and authenticity. You have to remember that the strongest applications demonstrate not just what you have achieved, but how you think, how you lead, and how you reflect on your experiences. So the key question becomes, how do you demonstrate these qualities in your application? So let's look at first how to prepare effectively before you apply. So now that you understand what we look for in strong applicants, preparations becomes essential. A strong application doesn't start the day you submit it. It starts weeks or even months earlier. So when you look at this slide, it is important that you research your chosen program in depth. What do we mean by that? Go beyond the webpage of the program. Look at various channels. We have YouTube channel. Contact, speak to current students. We offer this opportunity through Unibody. Reach out. You can contact the professors. It is there. Go beyond the single web page of the program. Very important is to review academic and English language requirements. And we will talk about this a little bit in more detail, but they are all clearly listed on the website. Top universities like King's, please pay attention to every entry requirements, even subject specific. Reflect on your career goals and program fit. Well, we, as any institutions, we want to help you to get where you want to get. Make sure that the program fit to your career goals. And if you're not sure if there is a big portfolio, reach out to the institution or the students as mentioned before. Identify experiences that demonstrate impact. Quite important. Early at the stage, think of any of your experiences with the class, outside of the class, which impacted you as a person, which developed you, which you learned from. Put them on a piece of paper as you might use them later in your personal statement. Plan references early. We don't require physical references. I will touch on it. We ask you for referee email. What I mean by plan references early is think of who your referee will be. And I will touch on that in more detail. And be aware of applications and funding deadlines. Pretty crucial. Of course, you don't want to miss the deadline, but also early application, not rushed application, carries lots of advantages in order to access scholarships, possibility to apply, and so on. So let's move from preparation to execution. Your application is made up of several components, and each one plays a different role in how we assess you. So it's important to understand that these are not just separate checkboxes. Together, they should tell one coherent story about your motivation, your readiness, and your potential. At King's Business School, as you can see, I put in the bold first three kind of elements or documents which are needed, which is the minimum to submit an application. For any of our postgraduate course, full-time course at King's Business School, you will need your personal statement, your academic transcript, and a academic referee email address. Like I just repeat, we do not accept physical references. Now, many students delay their application because they're waiting for the English language evidence or tests, so IELTS, TOEFL, and so on. Once again, application can be submitted without it, and this can be provided at the later stage. And what is not compulsory, we don't require, it's any additional documents, and I touch on it, such as CV or different qualification. But we see if you think that documents add to your profile, strength to your application, please feel free to add it to your application. If you have a gap between your studies, so you graduated your undergraduate some time ago, then definitely upload your CV because admissions would like to see what you've done within this gap. So with that overview in mind, let's now zoom into the personal statement and what we expect at postgraduate level. A strong personal statement should demonstrate clear academic motivation, not just interest, but informed engagement with the subject. We are also looking for evidence of initiative, whether through academic projects, professional experiences, research, or independent exploration. So really key here is reflection is important. Strong applicants don't just describe what they've done. What they do, they actually explain what they've learned and how it prepares them for advanced study. And finally, clarity and structure matter. At postgraduate level, we expect coherent argumentation and precise writing. Really, the strongest statements demonstrate balance across all of these areas. Now, we read thousands of statements, excuse me, and the difference is rarely a grammar, it's really in depth. So one of the biggest differences we see the level of maturity in the writing. Undergraduate statements, they often focus on passion and exploration. At postgraduate level, we expect clarity, direction, intellectual depth. So instead of describing what you enjoy, strong applicants really analyze what they learned. Instead of saying they are interested in business, they identify specific themes, for example, behavioral finance, sustainable strategy, or innovation ecosystems. And the applicants demonstrate engagement with these areas through relevant reading, research, professional exposure, or, as mentioned before, informed discussion. Oops, and sorry, it's jumped to another slide by mistake. Sorry, where I finished? Oh, yes. So within your personal statement, referencing a book, academic article, industry report, or even high quality podcast can strengthen the statement, but only if you explain how it shaped your thinking. So really what to take from this is it's not about showing what you read, it's about showing how you think, how it impacted you. And the postgraduate statement should signal readiness for advanced study and also define a professional trajectory. Right. This is pretty text heavy, so I'll try to summarize it. But now that we understand what we look for in a strong postgraduate statement, really the next step is to think about how to organize it clearly and strategically. So a strong personal statement, it's not just about the good ideas. It's really about presenting them in a logical structure. So let's look at one effective structure. Please be advised, this is not how it has to be. There are many other structures which works, but I believe this should give you a good idea. So opening, the academic motivation and subject understanding. So really here, start with the clear academic motivation. Why this subject and why now? At postgraduate level, we expect intellectual curiosity and focus, not just passion. Strong applicants identify specific themes or questions that interest them, and they explain how their academic journey led them here. So really, these sections should signal the clarity and direction. Followed by what I call academic preparation or an intellectual development. So here we we try to demonstrate academic readiness. Show how your studies prepared you for your advanced study through relevant modules, research, projects, or key concepts that shaped your thinking. We're not looking for a list of achievements. We're looking for analytical development and intellectual maturity. This leads nicely towards experience and impact. So here you want to show how you applied your knowledge or grown through the experience. Work experience is not required with King's Business School for any programs, but what matters is reflection and development. So internships, leadership roles, competitions, volunteering, all can add value if you explain what you learned and how is it applicable to program you're applying to. Students ask me about hobbies or extracurricular activities. These should only be included if they demonstrate intellectual engagement, initiative, or leadership. Generic interest, they don't strengthen postgraduate applications. So please try to stay away from them. And last but not least, would be something as a future goals and your program fit. And I spoke about it already. So you really want to connect your goals to the program. So questions you want to answer is, where is this MSc, this master program, taking you? What is your short-term, mid-term trajectory? So strong statements show clear direction and informed alignment with the course. For example, referencing specific modules or themes where relevant. And this really will demonstrate intention and preparation. So if the personal statement is structured clearly, your statement moves logically from motivation to preparation to growth, we spoke about, and to direction. And that clarity is often what makes the difference. Right. I really wanted to bring to show you briefly to look at some common weaknesses we see in postgraduate applications. So first, vague motivation. And I touched on that before. Saying you are passionate about business, that's not enough. At this level, at postgraduate level, we really expect clearly articulate academic interest and intellectual direction. The second one is description without analysis. Don't just tell us what you did. As mentioned before, again, explain what you learned and how it shaped your thinking. My third point would be repeating the CV if you upload it. So the personal statement should interpret your academic and professional journey, not reproduce it in a paragraph form. If you submitted your CV, we already have it. So this is really your opportunity to demonstrate reflection and intellectual development. My fourth point would be mentioning rankings without engagement. So prestige alone does not really demonstrate fit. What matters is why this specific program aligns with your academic interest. On many occasions, I hear from students or read King's is a prestigious institution. And that was one of my top reasons to apply to the program. Please try to stay away from it. It's definitely, but we want that program fit. And finally, would be the lack of direction. We are looking for clarity. Why is this specific program? Why this MSc? Why now? And how it connects to your next step. So really, in summary, strong statements are precise, reflective, and purposeful. Right, so we focused on the personal statement, which shows us how you think and articulate your motivation. Now let's turn to your academic transcript. The transcript provides the academic evidence behind your application. This is where admissions, or where we assess consistency, subject readiness, and performance in relevant modules. So all applicants should review program-specific academic requirements carefully. International applicants should ensure qualification meet UK equivalency and provide official English translation if required, if your transcript is in different language. And you can see the equivalency at the program of each website. So wherever you're logging from, if you're interested in a certain program, go to the web page, click on entry requirements, scroll down, you can choose the country you study at, and it gives you equivalency of what we ask for, of our entry requirements. And not to mention, of course, the final year students regarding transcript, they should upload completed years and the most recent results available. In practice, many of our students are applying, or you might be studying in your last year of undergraduate, and I see students postponing their application. They tell me, Martin, but I do not have my last year transcript, and that's okay. If you don't have your last year transcript, you provide from the years before. Some students at certain institutions have a first semester of their last year of study. So please do not let this hold you back from submitting an application. Okay, the next one. So we discussed academic transcript now, which provides the evidence of your academic ability. So we're going to move now to another important component of the application, and that's your references. So while your transcript shows us the performance, your referee provides independent academic insights into your potential. So the requirements and important points are outlined on the slide. So please take a moment to read those carefully. I'm just going to summarize. We do not accept physical references. We require one referee academic email, and we will send a request for references on your behalf. If you graduated more than 5 years ago, then you can provide professional references or professional personal email of somebody you work with. But as mentioned, what I want to focus now here is the strategic tips. So if you want to truly ace your application, be thoughtful about who you choose. Really select an academic who genuinely knows your work. A detailed specific reference from someone who supervised, for example, your dissertation or assessed your coursework is far stronger than a generic letter from someone senior who barely interacted with you. Just remember, depth matters more than title. Always contact your referee before you apply. Do not surprise them with the automated email from the system. Approach them professionally, explain the program you are applying for, and share your motivation. You can also share your CV, your draft of personal statement, and you can remind them of specific projects or research you worked on together, particularly if those align with the program or the MSc you are applying to. And this will really help to ensure that your references or your reference reinforces your narrative rather than repeating generic praise. Strong application tells one coherent story across the personal statement, the transcript, and the references. And that is really the alignment what makes an application stand out. Right. Okay. Excuse me. We discussed the elements where you can truly differentiate yourself, your statement, your transcript, your references. Now we're going to move to slightly something different. So English language is not subjective. It's not about narrative or strategy. It's simple. It's just simply a requirement. So think of this as a tick box exercise. You either meet it or you don't. If you don't meet it, there are options of pre-sessional, but this is not what the presentation is about today. But if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. At King's Business School, we accept a wide range of recognized English language tests, which gives you flexibility. However, the required scores for our postgraduate programs are firm and they must be achieved in one sitting. It cannot be combined results. So I have students who come to me, oh, I achieved this score in one test, in another test. No, it has to be in one sitting. Now, importantly, you do not need, and I mentioned this before, and I just want to repeat it, your English test at the point of application. Many applicants apply first and submit the test later as a condition of their offer. So what advice I can give you to approach this strategically? So check your exact program requirement early. Book your test in advance to avoid delays. I'm hearing from various countries there can be a delay of booking the date and so on. Always aim slightly above the minimum where possible. And if you believe you qualify for an exemption, confirm this early rather than assuming. So there are certain exemptions. I can summarize them very quickly, but they are visible on our website. Okay. We now covered the required components of your application. So the final element focuses on optional documents and how to use them strategically. You may choose to include a CV to talk about it, professional qualifications, or even GMAT or GRE score. At the moment, it's not compulsory with King's Business School. These are not required, as mentioned, but in some cases, they can strengthen your application. For example, let's think of professional qualifications such as ACCA, CFA, level 1, 2, what are the ones they are? CIMA, CIM, project management qualifications like Prince 2, or even evidence or professional registrations in regulated fields. They really can demonstrate advanced subject engagement. Once again, however, it's important to be clear that these documents enhance an application. They do not replace core requirements. They cannot compensate for not meeting the academic English language or reference standards. They can help, for example, let me to give you GMAT, GRE, most common, more quantitative, isn't it? If you're applying for any of our finance programs, let's say your overall score is good, meeting the requirements, but you haven't performed in the modules, quantitative modules so well, GMAT, GRE can definitely strengthen it. So in this case, the strategic approach is simple. Include optional documents only if they genuinely add academic or professional depth to your profile. Quality matters far more than volume. And once you are confident that your documents are ready and aligned, the next step is really to understand how you submit application. Applications are submitted directly through each program webpage on the King's website. You can see a snapshot on the slide. So if you visit your chosen program page, you'll find Apply Now button in the top right-hand corner. Clicking this will take you to King's Apply portal, where you can create an account or log in. If you created your account already, upload your documents and complete your submission. Before clicking Apply, once again, make sure you review the entry requirements carefully and selected the correct program and intake. So we're heading towards the end, but now that we covered the application process and each individual component, the final step is to step back really and look at your application as a whole. A strong application isn't about one outstanding element. It's about consistency across everything you submit. Your transcript should support your academic motivation. Your personal statement should reflect what your reference reinforces. Your English test should meet the requirement, and everything should tell kind of the same story. So strong applications are complete, aligned, and evidence-based. And importantly, they are submitted strategically, not rushed or at the last minute. As mentioned before, admissions decisions are holistic, and we look at the overall profile, not just one piece in isolation. Now, as we close, remember, strong applications are not accidental. They really are strategic. Most competitive applicants start early, reflect deeply, ensure every component kind of aligns. And the most common mistakes we see are vagueness, lack of direction, and rushing at the final stage. So your goal is clarity, coherence, and completeness. A strong application tells really one consistent story, and every document supports that story. Now we move to kind of my last slide. And finally, what's good to remember is one more reason to ace your application, and that is that strong application doesn't just help you to secure an offer, it opens doors to funding. We have a number of scholarships available for 2026 entry, including region-specific awards, business school scholarship, even full funding opportunities such as CMA, CGM Excellence Fund. And why I'm saying it, for majority of the scholarship of Vice Chancellor Award, KBS or King's Business School Scholarship, Grade Scholarship, if you are a passport holder of one of these countries, you can only apply if you receive an offer. And therefore, acing your application is important. So the stronger and earlier application, the more opportunities becomes available to you. So this is my last slide. And so remember, if anything from this, strong postgraduate application is not about perfection. It's about clarity, reflection, and alignment. And if you demonstrate that intellectual curiosity, direction, and authentic engagement, you place yourself in a very highly competitive position. So thank you. And we are now happy, together with Laura, to take on your question. I hope this was helpful.
Thank you so much, Martin. This was very useful, and what a great opportunity for all of you to hear right from the school, from a recruitment and admissions lead on how to ace that application, and a lot of great tips here, and a lot of great questions coming in. So we're going to move over to some of the Q&A. I know that Laura has been able to answer a few specific questions, and I've got a couple of themes forming here, Martin, and there's a lot of curiosity about King's Business School and what opportunities are available during the programs that you offer. And can you elaborate a little bit more on the live projects, case competitions, experiential learning during the program? Another student also asked if there's any paid opportunities within this as well.
Right. Due to the right, good question. And really, I would need an hour to answer it. But in a nutshell, so as you know, the master in UK, just really summarize, it's 1 year. Therefore, the work opportunities doesn't come as an internship. I know majority of you are from India and they're implemented into the learning. Here in UK is different. Yes, experiential learning comes. They're unique to every program. I would probably pick, have a look even online. MIM, which is the international management impact modules. They are delivered through modules. So we call them mini internships. They can be online or in person. The students do visit various companies, work on the real life projects. Each program would have variety of that. What other part was the question? Experiential learning comes a lot, and each program has it embedded within the modules where the students are. Oh, paid opportunities. At King's, we do offer paid opportunities to all of our students through applying for one of the positions within King's. There is no paid opportunities within the master program. But to give you an example, any King student, and they work with me on various projects, can apply for various positions which are paid. The beauty of this is you don't have to travel to work and therefore expense. You dictate your availability. So this would be student ambassador. Some of our students are actually working with my events team or marketing. So it's kind of a supportive roles. And I would like to also bring up the finance example of practical learning. One of the very good program I know every other institution is jealous about. It's our King's Investment Fund. So students of our finance programs, specific finance programs, actually team up at the beginning of the project, at the beginning of the year, create the teams. We have a Bloomberg terminals, and they are actually presenting their portfolio to mid-management from banks, from real jobs, from real banks and so on, investment companies. A few teams are picked up then and receive real money, which they invest on the stock exchange. These are we not play around. They receive £10,000, if I'm not mistaken, each team. They invested into their portfolio. This is part of their project. And at the end of the year, I have attended last year presentation. The teams are presenting to the panel again how their portfolio performed. What was the reason behind it. Unfortunately, they can't keep the money if there is a loss or profit. But this is really how we're trying to expose our students to the practical learning by doing. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, no, there's been a few questions on that. And even Nightick is asking a question related to that. You've already sort of elaborated that, yes, there's consultancy or experiential learning within the program itself and some great opportunities outside. And Nightick saying, coming from an Indian academic system that's really theory heavy, how do I transition to that application focused learning environment? And how early should I be starting positioning myself within that?
If I understood your question correctly, I think, don't forget, King's College London, of course, and I touched on it in my presentation, it's very research based, the latest research. We are part of the Russell Group. 65% of the world leading research actually comes from this little group of 24 universities, from the whole world. So I wouldn't be worried about that because, there is, of course, the theory is always going to be that the beauty of it is the latest theory. You will be working with the latest research. Transitioning lots of the programs, specifically in semester one, lots of the modules are to to prepare you for what comes. That's why you will see one of the biggest feedbacks we have from students is our flexibility within programs. And you can see on the website, the first semester, not many optional, depends on the program to bring you in, because certain programs are set up for students from various backgrounds. Our MIM is open to applicants from anything. We have students from film studies, humanities, of course, business, but certain programs which are more specialized, the students comes. However, the curriculum is set up. We consider once you're entering the master, everyone is kind of equal, and that's why the entry requirements, you might say, are high, but this is to manage that rigorous program. I There is no specific preparation, but I can tell you in India we have Laura is going to probably be able to fix me on that. Is it our third biggest group of students? And trust me, very successful students. And I know that, like I said, I go there quite often. So I hope that answers the question. There is no specific things you can do, but please have a look at the YouTube channel. What is the program about? We got directors talking about it. Communicate with our current students. The easiest way to really say it's through Unibody. Put in the Google King's chat to students, it will come up, and you can filter students based on program, based on where they come from, and have that interaction with them. I'm really confident because students describe us as a community. They really, really tell me that the most challenging times was for them the pre-arrival, the stress about application, waiting time. Once they within, we have supporting teams available, student experience, careers team, which is only for King's Business School, concentrating on them, and various other to make the transition easier for you to be successful, not only during your studies, but after as well.
Really great tip. And connecting with those current students, it sounds like there's great opportunities to do so right away. Shambhavi is asking a related question. You talked about the academic rigor. And where are you finding what particular modules or areas where you see students experience the steepest learning curve or the most challenge?
I think this is probably to do something. I'm going to put it there more of the steepest challenge probably would be, we can see that students and the generation is moving more towards that practical learning by doing. So the theory part can be challenging for some, yet I don't have the stats available. Our students, where graduation data tells us that they overachieving average of Russell Group universities, which tells something about the quality of teaching, and I guess, and quality of our students. Not only that, so steepest challenge. It's really, I would approach it more that individually they give me different feedbacks. I think the challenge is the change of what is happening externally within the technology, within the constant change of view on various topics such as ESG. But students who is motivated and passionate about certain subjects, they never had a problem if they're in the correct program. I hope that answers the question in a way.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I'm going to switch over. I see a few career outcomes, employability questions coming up. Hardick's got one around the evolving UK job market and visa landscape. And how does King's Business School actively support international students, translating that classroom learning into employment outcomes?
Very good question, and I like to be honest with the students. So there is no secret that the UK job market, and especially recent data, I think it was 2 days ago, which came up, are not very nice. These are external factors we do not have in control, unfortunately. The unemployment rate is what it is. It's not a good best PR for the UK. I can speak about my personal experience, but it's more about the students. Now, at King's Business School, and I touched on it briefly, King's College London, of course, carries the advantage of prestigious institution, but that's not enough. There is enough prestigious institutions. We offer overall, King's College London career support. On top of that, business school particularly has its own specialized career support team, which is dedicated to only and is separate teams for undergraduate and postgraduate. Sorry for my hands. I used to live in Italy. And this support is available to you not only during your studies, but also after your 2 years after your graduation. So what does it mean in the practical measures? For example, again, I can speak about Career Impact Program. This is for finance students. A very great example. Right at the start of your program, actually before you even start classes, it's embedded in your curriculum. This is a 3-day program where we going through interviews, practice interviews. We invite, again, mid-management or senior management from roles, they're talking about the job market. I love the theater interview because it puts you under the pressure of how to interview and you get a recent feedback. Access to various technology support applications, which are actually available to you as soon as you receive an offer. So building your CV, LinkedIn, all the standards, interview practices, job market, job fairs, alumni network needs to be mentioned. King's College London, overall 300,000 applicants. King's Business School, don't want to give you the wrong number. It's pretty strong, and we're building actually not only within the UK, but the question was for the UK. Alumni network, pretty important. Don't forget the King's, it's networking, massive part of being successful within the job market. And I like to mention, don't forget King's College. Overall, it's a member of University of London. So here we're talking about, I think it's 400,000 current students, pretty strong network, which you can tap into. So think outside box, don't just think King's College London. So I talk about the career support, the career fairs. I know in India particularly, companies come, again, because I've been there many times, and they say, oh, we're going to employ 5 people from this program, 1 person from this program, and 10. UK job market is different. So the institution is investing heavily, because you want your return on the investment for you to be successful. One thing I will mention, as a postgraduate student, it will not fall into your lap. And active students and proactive students are always 99% of successful. Start very early. We want to embed this very early. The internship application in UK, or they actually open in September, before you even start your course. So one of the first things when you come to induction week and meet careers team, they're going to take you through the jobs which are actually available after you graduate, the summer after. So really the support team is there available. The external conditions are tough, but that has to be said. But like I said, there is many stories, and I would love happy to connect you with an alumni, which I know what they're doing now currently within the UK, secure the job.
Great. And you've spoken about some of the tips on how to navigate these. There's also that perception around what about those extra competitive sectors like consulting and finance? And there's also concern within the questions that we're seeing that international students are less desirable. So how do students overcome that through competitive sectors or that perception that they have extra work to do as an international student?
As bluntly as it's going to sound, and maybe so simple, I was an international student myself. Okay, the conditions probably haven't been that tough. Do not give up. Don't target specific company top 5. I heard it. The careers team said, "Oh, we would like to work in this." What do they call it in finance? Well, top 5. Entry job. It's an entry job. Considering the external factors, be motivated. Do not give up. I speak with alumni on, I would love to say daily basis, but through these programs we do for our current students, you will hear stories you wouldn't believe. One student submitted, I never forget that, 3 applications for jobs. He's working at Bloomberg. I speak to another alumni. She couldn't even remember the number of applications he submitted because it was so many. That's why the support here after graduation is here. You have to be motivated. Do not let, in the current world, in the current job market, your application for a job doesn't normally even go to the person at certain companies. The automation looks for keywords. This is, again, one of the things we are helping students to prepare for. And then when the automation picks up, then you might be contacted. On many job applications, you will not even be contacted even if you're unsuccessful. Stay motivated. Reach out. If this is really your dream job or dream company, not 1, not 10, reach out. Oh, I applied. I haven't heard from you. Shows the interest, show the motivation. I do another set of presentations which actually comparing about what student thinks are the most valuable desired qualities and skills from employers and what actually companies says. Very different things. You can look at World Economic Forum report 2025 and you will be shocked what actually students thought is at the top and up at the beginning, and vice versa. So adaptation, these kind of things which you learn through. I would need to go through that other presentation or the session. So really stay motivated. Do not back down. It's not easy, but like I said, the motivated people, the hard workers, it's a small price to pay. A few days or weeks or sometimes a month on that in order to entry. And entry positioning if it's not your dream job, you make it through consultancy. It's a big part of what we do because we are a civic institution. So lots of our projects, lots of our modules, we're trying to bring. So we work with 3 councils in London on the real life projects. Again, advising small businesses. Apart from the accreditations I talked about, we also have a small business charter. What that means, the institution is working with the small businesses, NGOs, and so on. Lots of our students secure some kind of a job or internship just by participating within these projects, within the modules.
Great, lots of opportunities. There's actually been a ton of questions about employability and careers. Maybe no surprise there. Swapnil asks a bit more about employer partnerships. So, can you speak to the employer partnerships that King's Business School has? Do employers come on campus? How do they interact with the school?
Sure. Again, I like to look at that. Lots of now I can give you lots of data. King's there is an independent paper, and again which actually we King's has annually. Let me give you the correct number. Sorry, there's lots of data to go through in my head. King's overall, King's College London, over annually, which you can attend as well, over 500 companies. We have been actually, and this is like I said, independent paper. We have been actually ranked above institutions, and I will not name them, which you wouldn't expect when it comes to companies targeting institution graduates, which I was shocked when I saw the paper. It's nice to hear. This is where they question top 100 companies globally. Careers team I mentioned, they recently won the prize. I was in Asia and China as a top one of the top career support team. So in practice, yes, we do. Of course, there is a dashboard where Kings, where our partners, we work with. Oh my God, I forgot the name of the accounting company. Lots of projects with them. One of the biggest finance companies. I'm sure Laura gonna send me a message. I forgot it's within our programs, so they can advertise the jobs over there. Also internally, we have the job advertisement board where also our careers team is sharing opportunities if they come externally. We have the companies visiting either as a speaker, either as a job fairs, either as a part of the project, as mentioned, depends on the program. Alumni, it's a big piece. So successful alumni come back to want to give back to community. I have extended few, the alumni which have A, secured a job, or B, started even their own company within. So I think the best compliment I had about the events overall and specific teams was from students who actually complained. I never forget that. The student literally said, Martin, there is so much happening. I cannot attend it all. I really take this as a really positive thing. So but you have to be on top of things. The times of education have changed from my times, where there was 1-2 events a day. Now you have such a supporting team. You are investing. See this education as an investment, not as a debt, not as a cost. As an international student, I can only lie to it. I kind of paid back still, but it really helped me to get through. And it was not always my dream job, but at the entry position, consultancy, like we touched on it briefly, that's where you grab the opportunity. Communication, confidence, adaptability, networking. Very, very, very important in today's job market, no matter where you are.
Thank you. And I think we've gotten through all of our career related questions, and we're going to switch gears back to the application side. Now, Raghav has asked a little bit more about holistic background. So if somebody is above average in academics, but has also been pursuing sports professionally or has been pursuing work or maybe even entrepreneurship, will they have a chance to showcase themselves and get admission? So sort of that balance between those people that have, yes, done well in academics, but maybe sacrifice some of that excellence for outside activities. How should they position that on their application?
Yeah, sorry, can you hear me? Because Lindsay, you went frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Right, good question. Yeah, I was going through lots of slides and it's a good. So, look, the academics, any top institutions I meet with my colleagues from, you know who I'm talking about, top 4 in London, the academics will be looked at. But yes, we understand that if you sacrifice something, and I touched on that, and it's a great example, sports. Now, again, if you remember during my presentations, I kind of mentioned them, but if they're applicable to what you're applying, if they include something. Sport is a great example. Think outside of the box. You did sports, commitment, leadership, probably teamwork, again, one of the most desired skills. So yes, definitely bring them into your application. It can play into your advantage, but I'm coming back to don't just tell us you did X, Y, Z. What you learn from it? Maybe we had applications for one of our programs, Strategic Entrepreneurship Innovation, popular in India. And I know most of the students here are from India because of the family business, isn't it? One of the best personal statements I read or part was about talking about the failure of the business, but what they learned lesson what from it and why they think this program or this pathway they want to go into further education would probably avoid it or help them into understand it better. So do not to answer the question of the student, yes, bring it in, but try to adjust it to, well, you have to adjust it to that program and your journey you are applying to. How is it you sacrifice something on the cost of something, and that, if you can, you tell us the whole story, that definitely can help. And like I said, the second piece of advice, even don't be scared to talk about failure if it was your journey, your learning journey, if that makes sense.
Great, thank you. And let's assume we have followed all of Martin's tips and have gained successful admission. When international students are applying for a visa, do you have any tips on navigating that process, like do's and don'ts? And can you articulate some of the postgraduate pathways available to international students in the UK?
So I have to put out there, I am not, what is the right word to use? I cannot give you a legal advice. It is not my
Disclaimer.
profession. Yes, yeah,
The
disclaimer.
disclaimer.
But
Fair.
in my previous job, I used to recruit for 100 and something universities dealt with it. I don't think anything's changed. When it comes to visa application at King's, we do have two visa teams to support you. Once before you even apply for the visa, and the second one is after you apply if you have any questions. Honestly, maybe because I've done so many, the visa application is straightforward. If you have your documents in order, if you did not misspell your name or something, the most important advice I can give you really during your application, make sure, or when it comes to the visa, your name is spelled correctly. You haven't changed your passport since you provided to us. Lots of things I see that happening. That's because university will produce you, once you have unconditional offer, something what's called CAS. And this is the main document, confirmation acceptance studies. If your details have been provided wrongly and they're wrong on the CAS, then your visa is most likely rejected. I don't want to lie to you. I think King's rejection for visa is 0.4% or 0.6, very, very small. And this is thanks to our support team, but really it's less complicated. It's not that complicated because all you need is unconditional offer, valid passport, and the CAS. CAS is really the most important. Um, then when it comes to, I think the question was post-study visa as well. Right. I don't want to, there is more options available, and we have sessions for this for students who start with visa team. The most common route is the post-study visa. I think they call it now post-study working visa. Don't quote me on the name. Currently is still 24 months to my knowledge. So these are 2 years. To get this post-study visa, it's easy. You just apply and you get them. If you're successful graduates, you get them. But to find a job, this is where the support system. So you get the visa, but to find a job, it's your responsibility with the support of the institution, of course, all the teams I spoke about. After these 2 years, the company which you work for or another company under current law can sponsor you. And the sponsorship is for 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. I know there was in the press from current government that they were proposing to reduce the 24 months to 18 months, but I don't think it has been approved. It went through government, the post-study visa. So, but like I said, enough teams and enough sessions, and we also concentrate at King's. Some of our students go working into the Europe. So open your mind, think globally. Some of our students prefer now, we see the movement. So we also advise once our students are here on the Shenzhen visa, I think they're called, if I'm not mistaken, on the visa to other countries within Europe as well.
And I see Laura has also added a lot of great resources and links. So please also, Kushal, refer to those. And of course, with any sort of immigration or legal information, always directly go to the source, of course, according to Martin's disclaimer at the beginning. But there's some great resources here for you. And with that, we've actually wrapped up all of the questions right on time. You did a fantastic job, Martin. What I was hearing throughout was a really, really rich support system, especially for international students. And so there's lots to take away from all of the application tips and advice, and hopefully you follow that advice, but hopefully you also connect and engage with current students, with the visa teams, with learn more about the school. It sounds like a lot of really, really great resources for you as you're moving through the application process, but also as you move through the program and beyond. So a big thank you to Martin, to Laura, to King's Business School for such a great session today. And a huge thank you to all of you for being so engaging throughout and for asking thoughtful questions and for sticking with us through this presentation. And really, wonderful to see that engagement. So, best of luck with your applications. I know because of today, you are going to be submitting excellent ones, and we hope that you will gain admission to King's Business School through one of their fantastic programs. So, thank you again, Martin and Laura, and
Uh,
have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And I end up with a little challenge. If you did submit your
Oh.
application and you're thinking of you want to meet the deadline, you're waiting for your offer, and you join this meeting, and I can help you to because you need the offer to apply for scholarship. Please, you can contact me directly. And as a prospective postgraduate student, I'm sure based on your research methods, you can find my email online, which is available somewhere.
I like that
Uh,
challenge. You have to find my email and we're going to test your research
all I can
skills.
say, it's available and it's not hard to find.
I love it. A good challenge for all of you. So Martin has offered some direct advice, but first you have to prove your worthiness via your research skills. I love it. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. It was fantastic to have you here and have a great evening, great afternoon, or great morning from wherever you're joining us from. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.